to maintain my angriness. Like, didn't Homer Simpson do that?
I think, yeah.
I think it was George Burns. He was mad, and he's like, I just have to maintain this level of angriness. And so he sits there for like 3 days, unmoving, just grrr. But if I was Warren, hey, what the hell, Verna? You asked me to come out here with you. You asked me to go outside and leave you alone with this guy. You asked me to do all of this shit for you, and you're not going to give me anything?
Yeah, I thought we were going somewhere, like, to get, like, me and you being, you know, we're getting closer. We just had a long conversation about Jala that I taught you some shit. Like, this is, but, okay, what he does after she's like, don't talk to me, and stomps off, he just kind of hangs back and walks behind her, and I don't blame him for that, because, like...
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't keep pushing either. I'd be like,
fine,
okay.
fuck off. I'm not talking to you.
Go ahead, bitch.
Yeah, and then almost to add insult to injury, she's already lashed out at him. He feels bad enough about who the fuck knows what. Then she turns around and she's like, and another thing, I want you to figure out that damn prophecy about the false prelate. And he's like, what's going on? Why do I, what changed? What information did
Follow-up
what did you get? Yeah, which would be perfectly normal.
Yeah.
She's like, no questions, fucking do it. And if you don't do it, you're going to go for a swim, which I took that implied she meant she was going to kill him by drowning him.
They were on the bridge, Nate. That's what it was. They were just standing on a bridge. So she was like, I'm going to chuck you in the water if you don't shut up right now.
Okay, I get that. But you also know how I feel about bridges. And even though I know it's nowhere near the size of the one that I'm thinking of, which is the Mackinac Bridge, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Even though it's terrifying, I'm still going to ride my motorcycle across it. I am dead set on that goal. I'm just going to buck it up. Bridges are terrifying. Sorry, I got off track. But, like, she's threatening him. Even if she's just going to toss him off a bridge. This is a bridge leading to a large island surrounding a palace. It's not going to be pleasant.
No, I don't disagree with you on that.
Friends don't throw friends off of bridges, Jade.
Nope, they do not. Look at Puck. His tail is disappearing in the ceiling.
He's in the ceiling.
Yeah.
Puck! Yeah, come down here.
What are you doing?
What are you doing in the ceiling? Chilling. Is it his tail? Oh, no, that's his front paw. Okay. Well, I feel better about this.
Sorry,
now.
that's all.
No,
I just saw
okay.
his little tail disappearing, and I was like,
I was like, she's not going to pause the podcast. She'll be like, look at the cat. Look at the cat.
No.
But no, you were, and I'm glad you told me. I didn't know he could get up there.
I didn't
and
either.
That will be addressed very soon. So, well, sorry about that. So after that, Warren walks away, obviously upset. And she does have this little moment. She's like, I'm being a dick. But I'm also not going to call out to him and say that I'm sorry right now, which should be the move.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to do it. I don't blame him for being upset. He's like, okay, prelate, will do.
Ooh. We did talk about how people were using prelate with the intention to have a little bit of an edge to it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Vern anymore.
Mm.
You're not Verna, the girl that I grew up with for hundreds of years, and we know each other really well. Like, I know people really well that I worked with. And so now we've known them for like 8 years. And they're like brothers. And like, you know that person. This is hundreds.
Yeah.
And it goes from hundreds of years to, okay, whatever your title is.
Well, yeah, and especially with Warren, like, they're getting to be even closer on a different
and he's
level.
got feelings.
And they've done this back and forth with the prelate thing before, where she's like put the distance between them, and he's been like, okay, prelate, and she doesn't like it. So maybe stop bossing him around.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I'm Warren, I'm saying, okay, all right, you want me to go away? Fine. But I want to make clear that I am sick of this fucking whiplash, and that if we're going to do this thing together, then you need to let me in. And if you're not, then you can stop relying on me to get your shit done for you. Or at least in the way that I'm doing you a favor. From now on, you ask me as a boss, and I will answer you as an employee. And that's all the further any of this goes.
Yeah, one or the other. Either we're boss and employee, or we're friends, and we work together.
We're not going back and forth.
Yeah, that's not cool. You can't abuse your authority like that with me. I do not appreciate your authority.
You can.
I don't even watch that show.
That
I know
is the second South Park reference this episode, and I applaud you, JD. But yeah, no, you can get in a lot of trouble if you think you have a rapport with your boss and you say something off color, and all of a sudden he puts on his boss pants and is like, "Hey, no, that's fucked up." What the hell?
Oh yeah.
There has to be a line somewhere, and the boss can't be the one flip-flopping on that line. He has to be the one who's like, okay, guys, shut it down.
You know, I work in a vet clinic that was closed for we weren't closed, but, we couldn't let people in, customers and whatnot.
Right.
So we got very comfortable talking at a certain level for a while. But I was always very careful to let my boss set the tone,
the precedent,
and never go anywhere even close to the level that he was talking at, because I know how easily that could turn around, and I'm just like, this is fine. I'm not gonna get anybody in trouble, but I'm not gonna let anybody have a reason to come at me.
Oh yeah, no, you damn sure don't instigate anything. There has to be a line somewhere, and everybody is more comfortable knowing exactly where that is. That's why Warren is getting so fucked up from this.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's supposed to be closer, it's supposed to be more than this, and Verna just keeps taking it all away.
Yanking him back and forth on that leash.
So, while Warren heads probably back down to the vaults to go look some shit up, Verna heads back to the prelate's garden, and she just runs her ass straight to her little sanctuary, slapping her hand on the door repeatedly, because she forgot to put the ring on her finger. That's the key. It's got to be there. Or maybe it doesn't have to be on her finger, but she has to touch the ring to the plate.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny because she, jumped down off of the wall, and then she just, ran her ass through there, sweating, and it was a whole thing. She's
intense.
All... Yeah. She's at level 11, for sure.
And you can taste the frustration, because she's like, slap on the plate. Slap. Slap. Ah, fuck. God damn it. Get through the pocket.
Fucking ring.
Ring. She gets the door open and she chucks it. And I love this because...
Fuck that ring.
Yeah. Because in about maybe 3 or 4 notes from now, something else happens that just makes it very real, because I react this way when I'm angry sometimes. But we will get there. Stay tuned. Anyway, so Verna immediately pulls out the journey book. You get it yet? You understand what it's happening? She is pretty positive about what is happening, but she needs to verify that she's right about who has the other one. So she writes in it, saying, and this is going with her assumption.
Yes.
Because it doesn't tell you. She's like, you need to tell me the reason that you chose me last time. Now, I remember every word. If you fuck it up, I'm going to burn the book.
Chuck it in the fire. I hope you don't have a bad memory, okay, old lady?
Hope you're not drinking tonight, because you're going to be pissed off. But we can gain from that she is talking about Anne.
Yeah, and especially because, it goes into depth here in a second about their last meeting. So, obviously... It's Anne. So if you didn't pick up on it by now, Verna believes that. We believe that. That's who the dead fake bodies were.
Right.
It wasn't. It was supposed to be them, but it wasn't.
The funeral pyre that was had were the 2 bodies that these guys had dug up and then brought to the palace, and it wasn't Anne and Nathan. So that means... ... Anne and Nathan are still fucking alive.
Yes, so they have, and they have the other journey, so they can respond with the journey book.
You know what's really funny?
Sentences are full.
We talked about the day she got the journey book, that night, that you would have written in it, the very first thing. She could have saved herself all this time.
Seriously.
But the other thing that occurred to me was, what are the fucking odds of her being, telling Warren... Oh, yeah, I got all these bullshit reports to do. Here, let me just grab this one. And she just reads it off for effect. And that, report and request for money just happens to lead back to this Gravedigger, which happens to lead back to Anne and Nathan still being alive. Coincidences may not exist, but holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the plot there. You have to. Yeah, she's read like how many hundreds of reports, and this one stuck out because they wanted extra money.
It was the top one on her desk.
Yeah, it's
I can do a magic
so
trick that's very similar with a deck of cards, but it's not that.
But there have been consistent clues that if anybody were actually bothered by the circumstances of Anna Nathan's death, that they would maybe follow up looking at these things. So maybe this would stick out to you because you were like, okay, I'm already feeling something weird. I don't know what, but I'm looking for something weird. You know?
Yeah, I suppose so. But I'm just like, what are the
No.
What are the odds?
Crazy plot coincidence.
Or how deep do you want to go, Jade? You want to slam 6 more beers and then get into this? Or was it all done on purpose?
I think that the farther we get in this book, we're going to find out how much of it was on purpose.
Fuckery with the reports coming in and the job that Verna had to be doing, and like, I don't know how much, now that we know they're alive, that opens all these possibilities about what was the plan.
Well, and I mean, technically we know that whoever made that request, because I don't believe that it was, what's his fucking name? Ham. I don't believe Ham just decided to have Milton put that report in weeks later. I think that came from whoever made the order.
The request.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Anne at this point.
Right. So she told them to wait long enough, potentially, for Verna to get into her new role and to make sure she saw it.
She'll
for
be
sure.
dealing with the paperwork and trying to do it legit.
And also, we know, you were talking about the money earlier with Ham, and we know that obviously the palace is supposed to pay out for that work.
Yeah.
But Ham also suspiciously had a whole bunch of money in savings when he never saved shit in his whole life. So it seems like maybe there was a payment at some point before that too.
Paid really, really well. But if he already had gotten paid for that, then why is this request just now coming through?
This is on the books so that Verna would see it.
Oh, it all makes sense.
But they also gave the man,
I'm going to pay you $100,000 to do this super illegal deed for me.
Right.
And while you do that, I'm going to pay you $2,000 to do the legal thing that you would normally have to do.
You're going to bill my company for.
After this. So then, of course, we had contact and it was all legit and it's fine.
Right. But
Holy
now you
shit,
have money to go buy a super expensive donkey and move down country that you've never had to do before, and you don't need the money from the palace. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense. Especially because Milton said Ham's never saved things a day in his life. As soon as he gets money, it's out of his pocket. So
yeah,
that's
he didn't save money. He just got paid because he wouldn't have saved it.
He was just flush at that moment.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Now that you lay it out like that, I get it. So she puts the book back away and then grabbed the little comforter and settled into the chair and thinks about her last meeting with Anne. Obviously, this is the first time that we know, that she knows, that she thinks that we know, that the reader knows, that everybody knows. Good Kind definitely knew.
All the knowing.
It's all Anne. It all points to her.
Yeah.
And at that time, she had basically told her, look, you're chosen to get Richard because you were disposable. Which starts making her feel like shit.
Yeah, broke her heart.
So she's sitting there all sad, and then she just keeps... Look, total honesty, this is something I do. When I'm not in a good mood, I just think about all the bad things that ever were, and I can spin.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thankful to have you. But, and especially about this, because this, boom, right in the fucking feels. I have my reasons, and you know what they are.
Yeah.
But she's sitting there, and she's thinking about her mom, right? Learning of her mom's death, which is not so weird.
No.
That's a very sad thing. Many people go through it, and it's awful. But her mom wasn't magic, so she didn't live close to the palace, and she didn't really get to see Verna often at all. And when she did, her mom was always freaked out that Verna hadn't aged.
Yeah. She was like, this is weird. Why do you still look like a teenager? And you've
Yeah.
been here for 40 years, you fucking
Yeah.
weirdo.
That's not right. And so her mom has